of commander-in-chief, Nigeria got certificate forger-in-chief. And that is why, as far as Tinubu is concerned, he doesn't even care what is happening to our soldiers. He doesn't care what is happening to the military, to security agents. He doesn't care whether lives and properties are protected. He doesn't care whether the territorial integrity of Nigeria is defended. All he cares about is regime protection. How they will ensure that either they kill protesters, they kill people, anyone who says anything against Tinubu is picked up, is treated anyhow. That's all he's interested in. How can a country be owing its soldiers? First of all, the other time we saw a report where they said soldiers were being fed once a day. How can you feed people once a day and expect them to go to war and go and do that war very well? How can you deny people their allowances and expect them to be able to function effectively? They have families they have left at home. Their children are not getting the best of education. Their families are not enjoying the best of life. They put their lives on the line. They watch their colleagues being killed. Every day they are in danger of being killed by ragtag armies that they know themselves that they can defeat. But yet they are being sabotaged all the time. We put soldiers on the street. They are on the battlefront, at the battleground. They are being killed anyhow, and yet you don't even pay them what you're supposed to be paying them. How are we owing soldiers money? How is it that the salaries of soldiers have not been paid? Soldiers have come out to show the kind of food that they are being given. You feed them once a day that cannot do anything. How are we sitting as a nation that we have a lot of things that is wrong with this country in terms of security? Soldiers are putting their lives on the line. They are going out there, even with the fact that they are giving limited, bullets that they're supposed to use, limited arms that they're supposed to use. They are not giving the best of intelligence gathering. Those ones that are supposed to be gathering intelligence are busy using the apparatus and the things that they have to focus on people who are checking their side chicks, checking their political enemies and all of that. Even the police is involved in that. You saw the report where an ex-policeman has said that the things that were put together to be able to track terrorists, to track kidnappers and all of that, politicians are now using it to track their side chicks, whether their side chicks have other things or their side guys or whatever it is that they do out there. Yet these are people who constantly put themselves on the line. Even when sometimes when they are killed by terrorists, the military will deny such happening. The military don't give them proper burial. They don't give the families closure. They do all sorts of things. How then do we expect that we are going to win any war against ragtag and that constantly come out on social media to keep on showing us the things they are doing? We saw recently some armored personnel carriers that have, I think it is about 2, that this terrorist called Bello Turji came out to be celebrating with videos and everything that they had collected them from military personnel. And even I saw a report, I started reading it, I just felt so angry and disgusted at it. I just stopped reading it about how some instructions had come and whatever that led to to that whole thing that happened where the APCs, the armored personnel carriers, were being taken away. How do we think we are going to win the war against insurgency if we don't take care of the people who are defending our country, people who are putting their lives on the line? The Tinubu went to buy bulletproof tires, what over 500, 200 and something million naira, yet the military have not been paid. Tinubu is going on buying a presidential jet for himself, yet soldiers have not been paid. The squandering money, using all sorts of things, but the main people who are protecting the territorial integrity of our nation are not being taken care of. This is parallel facts. Coming. Tinubu owes Nigerian armies August salaries, urges troops to be patient. How do you expect them to be patient? With what will they take care of their families that they have back home? With what will they pay their bills? Everything has gone up. Things are expensive. Was even their salaries increased? Do they know how their families are coping and what their families are going through? First of all, the families don't have their loved ones with them. Their loved ones are at the battleground fighting, and yet Tinubu is coming out to shamelessly tell them that they should be patient. Is Tinubu patient? His wife decoration alone on events, on office that is not even constitutional, they spent hundreds of millions of naira. Yet wives of soldiers, husbands of soldiers who are at home watching the home front while their spouses are at the battleground or their loved ones are at the battleground are being told that they should be patient. Patient and do what? Patient and die? And then when they come out to protest, because even these ones can't even protest, we have to be their voices. How are you owing them salaries and you expect to have security? The Nigerian Army has confirmed that the Bola Tinubu administration has not yet disbursed August salaries and allowances to its personnel. This delay has prompted concerns among the ranks, with the army appealing to its troops for understanding as the government works to resolve the issue. According to Sahara reporters, the Nigerian Army disclosed this in a memo obtained on Monday, urging soldiers to exercise patience as efforts are ongoing to ensure prompt payment of their entitlements. The memo reads, text, late PMT of that's salary and non-reg allowances and non-regular allowances, August 24. Director, your info TPS, that's salary and regular allowances for August 24 is yet to be paid by FGM, which is federal government. You know, they are writing in quotes are just not really code but shorthand. Efforts are ongoing to ensure PMT is effected ASAP. TPs are required to remain patient. I'm sure that troops are required to remain patient. PSE, treat as urgent and act. This is how they brew revolution. This is how they brew anger. People are going to, sometimes you see soldiers, you just pity them. You pity soldiers, you see them crying because they see their colleagues being killed when otherwise they should have the upper hand. You don't give them the right equipment, you don't give them the right support, you don't give them the right allowances, you don't give them the right food, and you expect them to go in there and go and fight battles and win. In short, apart from that, so they are even patriotic, they are doing all of these things, they are being sabotaged along the way. Officers are there, conduit by enjoying. Officers are the new billionaires in town. But meanwhile, the ones that are putting their lives on the line, they are being treated anyhow. How do you owe your soldiers? In what sense does it make sense for you to owe your soldiers? However, delay in payment of salaries and bonuses of the Nigerian Army is not a recurring event in Nigeria. It shouldn't be a recurring event. In October 2022, some soldiers had lamented the delayed payment of their salaries and the non-increment of such for over 10 years that they had been in service. How can someone be in service for over 10 years and there's no increase in salary? Look at the way things have gone up in Nigeria. The increments, the food insecurity, the high cost, the inflation, the high cost of things. Soldiers are also in this country. They don't get special allowance. Their families don't get special allowance. You don't have a shop where you go and say, oh, I'm a soldier's wife or husband or daughter or relative, and they will give you things cheaper. And yet you're not paying them. You're not increasing their salaries. You're not giving them the right equipment. You're watching them being killed, and there's nothing because we have a certificate forger in place instead of commander in chief. Certificate forger in chief is what we have that is there that doesn't even seem to think bother about what's happening within the military. The soldiers have been left on their own. They've been suffering, and it's time for all of this nonsense to stop. The Nigerian soldiers cannot come out and protest. We have to be their voices. We have to demand that this illegitimate administration go ahead and pay them their salaries, review their salaries, give them pay them their allowances that they're supposed to pay them. Reasonable allowances, not some stupid allowance that you're giving them 1,000 per day. What will 1,000 per day do? Take care of them, feed them very well, feed them adequately. The money that's being wasted in state house or banquet that are of no use to anybody, they should be used to feed our soldiers so that when they go out, they fight gallantly and they know that if anything happens to any one of them, we will be taking care of their families. This treatment of the Nigerian soldiers, this bad treatment of the Nigerian soldiers has to stop. Thank you so much for watching.